Oh, buddy, the dog. Yeah, you're all right. Anywho, we have so much stuff to do that it's getting overwhelming. Like, so much to do and nothing is getting done. So, I don't know. We're gonna start out here, and there's a few little things I want to do. I was gonna do the other day, and we never got it done. So that's where we are. So let's get started right after this. All right, welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, you're a lucky person. Ross the Oliver Man. Yeah, we got lots of stuff, lots of projects in the works. Last we saw this, it was all primered up with nowhere to go. And actually, several days have passed between then and whenever. So I was able to get it all the way primered up. I was also able to get it painted 3/4 of the way around. And now we have the leftover side to paint up. And once that dries, friends, then we can start assembling and gathering whatever we need to do all that. So step one here today, I think, is going to be to paint the rest of this red. This is not ideal weather for this, but it's go time, friends. It's go time. The bad thing about painting in the cold weather is you get runs and you don't realize it till later, because it will hang there pretty good for a while, and then when you walk away you'll see it run. There, I already got one started. Got a few started. Oh well. Like I said, we aren't entering the fair competition on disc rebuilding. We're just trying to, mainly rust prevention is what we're after here. You can see that it ran when I had it flipped over the other way. So, whatever. But about out of paint too. Got to switch to new can. It took less primer than it did red paint. So that's kind of bizarro, but gotta get every last drop now. Come on. Sure. Still got this gigantic load of garbage to put away. I don't know where we're gonna do with all that. That's a full day's work. And it would be nice if it was nice weather so I could be, you know, taking my time and enjoying things. That's good news. I need some of this stuff for the next project I'm gonna do. Oh, the impact's here too. Good. We need to grab those things. See, we never picked up our mess from when we rewired the trailer, because that's not how we roll. We don't pick up our mess. We just leave it there till we need it the next time. All right, is this gonna play nice? Now the phone's ringing again. All right, this is what it is. It could be better, but it could be worse. That was Dad on the telephone. Had to work on his well this morning. That was a fun time, you know, when it quits working in the middle of winter. So, and he's only got one arm, so I have to be the one to go in and do the thing. That's okay though. That's done. Hopefully this turns out all right. For some reason there, it doesn't look like it's playing nice right there. And that's odd, because usually that's not, it doesn't do that when you're painting on itself, but whatever. We're gonna walk away and come back to this days later, because whatever. And then it is what it is. If it looks like crap, I don't care. The main point of this was it won't rust. I would rather have a reddish bar in there than a rusty crap bar in there. So it almost makes it look like it was made by a professional and not a moron when it's painted red, see? So that's what we were after with that. Now I'll probably take a break and bring you back later, because Dad also wants to go somewhere right now, so we're gonna do that real quick. And then anyway, the moral of the story is I'll bring you back after a while whenever I get back, and we'll try to get some more of our work done. But you know, we got lots of work to do we need to be doing instead of goofing off, but we're gonna goof off a little. That's fine. So I'll bring you back after a while. Hopefully my plan will work with what we're gonna do with this, because it's been a long time coming, and there's a lot of stuff around here where it's like that. Projects where we've had little parts ready and we just haven't ever got it done, and it's kind of like to the point of, why don't we just do some of that instead of having these pieces laying around everywhere. So all right, we are back and we'll try to finish. I'll show you what I did while ago. Somebody actually asked this in a video and I explained it, but if you didn't know, somebody said, what happened to the hood here because it looked burnt? Remember when we worked on that 1020, we were able to see, yes, donkey, okay, I'm in the middle of something. Quiet down so I can talk. I tell you. Are you done? Come on. Oh, now another one's starting. Okay. So, sure, I guess we'll, yeah, okay. Now can I talk? Okay. When we worked on that 1020, we were able to see what was missing from this hood, because this one's been broken for years and I never was able to latch it down in any way, shape, or form. So, I think that's actually a metal thing hanging down. But anyway, I made pieces and we welded on this hood and made it back the way that it's supposed to be. But of course the sticker was a casualty because it burned off since we were welding so close and on the back side. So anyway, it's just been hanging out and I never did anything. So today I cleaned it up a little bit and at least painted it green so that it isn't sitting there rusting and then end up rusting through before we ever get to finish it or make it more better, you know, body work. I don't know. It'd be nice to have a super nice paint job on this, but that's probably never going to happen because it gets used all the time, you know. I did do a lot of body work to try to make it somewhat the right shape, because this was all caved in from about back here, folded around. The nose was smashed in flat up against the fuel tank, and I spent forever once I took it off and I tried to get this rib back in here, and I took all kinds of stuff and forming and stuff to try to make it, and it's not too bad. It's not perfect, but it's not too bad. At least it has that pointed shape to it again, and then the hood, you can kind of see the brow again. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better than it was. It's just that was before filming, so you know, that was before the YouTube time, so you never got to see that, but it is better. So that's green now, so it won't rust. So that's that. Next on our list of things to do, we need to haul this crap away and send it back up to the heavens, but we'll get to that. Mainly what I want to do is right here. You will recall that not one, but two viewers sent us lug bolts for Freddy the 1450. And so I got a couple of them painted up, and I want to try to put them in and see how that goes. This may not be the thing to do today, but I'm going to try it anyway. I should probably take along some type of magical lubricant just to help the process. But let me grab that and see, you know, and we'll go over there and see if we can make this happen. Oh, poor Freddy. He's just been sitting here. I had him running once, but he's just been sitting, and we need to get him out and play with him again. He's got the land plane on, so That's kind of become his job. And then we need to give this one the headlight treatment like we did that smaller one, and try to get it, you know, permanently headlighted. But yeah, so we're missing one there, and I think the other one is missing on the back, isn't it? Or are they both missing out of the front wheels? I can't see. Both out of the front wheels. Okay. For some reason I thought they're missing out of there, but no. There's no way that Freddy would start today. I hate to burst your bubble. There's just no way. Freddy is very, he likes the warm weather, just like me. So that ain't happening. Let's see, we need some air in Freddy's tire. I've had these wheels and everything off before, so there is a chance that perhaps this is possible, because I maybe didn't put I probably didn't put the bolt back in the right holes, you know what I'm saying? We got to make sure they're started square though. And then we're going to hammer it home. No, I brought a hand. That's all she took. It went in really easy. So that's good. I didn't know what to expect, but it worked. That can only mean the other side's going to be a horrible, horrible failure. Let's see if we have the same picture. We'll put you on the battery of sadness there. Like I said, it didn't look on either of these like it was not in there because the hole was messed up. It looked to me like they just lost one here or there along life's way. Now I say that, and now this one's playing not nice. So maybe we won't get this done. There's where it needs to go. There we go. Alright. Hammered home. Uh-oh. That one might be a naughty one. That one might be not good. It starts in there so good though. Might just be that there's a lot of trash in that hole. Because like I said, it starts in nice. Take it in and out a few times, because we gave it the ugga-duggas to get it in there, and that's probably frowned upon, but hey, that's the way she's gonna go. Yep, that'll work good now. It was just a matter of getting the hole cleaned out, and trying to clean that up a little too so it doesn't stain. Well, that makes me feel better though. Now it's complete. Yeah, that I would have loved to have run a tap through those holes or thread chaser or something, but I just don't have something that size, and I don't know where you would find it around here. I guess now that I have some of the nuts, or now that I have some of these, I might be able to figure out what size it is. I thought it was 22, but it's not. It's bigger than that. So 22 millimeter, and so we're gonna have to figure that out. But Freddy looks so snazzy sitting there hanging out, you know. We need to get him out and play though. That's the only thing. But see, you can see these are the same thing. Will one of these come out or not? Yep. Same thing. They might be a little longer. But I wanted to and just haven't got it done yet because of life and everything else. We kind of worked on the whole front end of Freddy and got that part back in order. Cosmetically, not great. The parts that I painted, because I had them all mangled up or, you know, burned the paint off. Sorry, I'm doing something behind my back here. Setting stuff down so I can talk better. Because you got to have your hands to talk. But if you recall, when Freddy arrived, it was in a much different state. And it was all this color green where it has been painted, which then that did not quite mesh with the green that I was using. You can see it's a little bit different. We did not have the headlights on Freddy, so I put those on. I was able to find a better grill, and then I was able to find the two inserts, which is like finding a unicorn, you know, on a rainbow cloud. Impossible feat, you know. They just don't exist. But I happened to find that one new old stock, and then this one a friend of mine had, and he didn't want it, so I got that from him and was able to make this grill pretty decent-ish. The original Freddy grill was cut off at the bottom, and so we didn't have the mounting holes for that, and I was going to have to make stuff, but for luck I found one, a shell, but it's really rough. We welded it up and got it pretty good, but we never got a chance to finish it and paint it up, and that's what we need to do now. Cosmetic stuff, you know, grind this down, refix whatever needs fixing, and then get it cleaned and painted. And then this part would be nice. We had to do a lot of work on the grill shell, as I recall. It's been a long time ago, but there was welding to do on there where stuff had been not right, and so it kind of was whatever needed fixing the worst first got it, and then we moved back. You know, we did I did, since I ended up cleaning up the front axle and painted it, I took the front wheels off, cleaned them and painted them, and did that. We had to weld this on because it was not, the exhaust thing was horrendous. It was blowing everywhere, and that actually worked good-ish because I was able to weld it on the tractor. I just got I think this was a 180 bend, and I sawed off one leg of it and got it up there, welded it around, and she's good as new. And then got a factory clamp here, but then I had, and I think that's a factory brace, but then I had to make a piece, and I think there's actually supposed to be another factory brace that goes from another stud, but we don't have that enough length on the stud, so didn't do that, or just walked away from it now. I don't know. What else did I do to it? I've had a lot of the stuff off just to observe and verify. I put this toolbox on, Oliver style toolbox. Just cleaned it up and made it better than it was supposed to be. We've got more work to do. I've got another hydraulic handle off like a 1365 that I want to make work for this one because they're opposites. So I got to do some cutting and welding unless somebody comes up with that for me. I put out a couple feelers on that too, but never got anywhere with that. But it basically amounts to, which two of the bolts? I want to say it's those two right there, but I'm thinking it might be, it actually might be these front two. I can't remember. But anyway, it's just a long tube with a handle in it, and then on this end there's a flat piece welded to the rod, and then there's a little linkage that connects the two so you can run your hydraulic outlets, and then the handle's over there. On the later tractors, they moved it flip-flop, and the handle was on this other side, so I don't know. But anyway, we worked our way back. We got some stuff. I put those hydraulic outlets on, I guess, and I think I reused the hoses that were on it. I don't think I replaced hoses. I can't remember. Viewer David owned the tractor first. He had done some stuff to it. I think those are the hoses that were on here. And then basically what we've done is I got as far as the fenders, and then that's where we need to stop. The fenders are really bad. They need a lot of taking off and welding and cleaning up and whatever. And then also, while I was doing that, I wanted to take the wheels off and clean that up and paint it so that the centers are green, you know, instead of just all one color, because that kind of breaks my brain. But that's as far as we got. That's why it is like it is now, because it was usable, and so I started playing with it and then never got back to it. I remember somebody ripped me about this muffler. Why didn't I just buy a new one? Well, that's a practically new Nelson muffler. It just looks discolored from, you know, use, but it's in really excellent shape, and I had a hard time not using it. It was perfect for this project. So anyway, Freddie might get a new muffler at some point in his career, but right now I'm happy with what I've got going so far. See, we didn't have air cleaner cup. I had to get one of those, and then the one I got ended up having a hole in it, and I had to weld it shut. And the place I got it from, I complained about it and said, hey, you know, you sold me one with a hole in it. And he's like, sorry about your life. I mean, they didn't care. So that was kind of a crappy thing. But then this pre-cleaner thing came up for sale. I had just made one that was different. I actually had to get this tube, I believe. And then I had another one sitting on there like off of a Ford that was close. But then this original style one came up that was exactly the right size inlet. So then that got put on there. So that's original, the way it's supposed to be. And we've just been going down the line, checking stuff off the list as I find it. Really what we need to do this summer, I think, before the failure happens, is we need to take that line off and make a new one. But I'm just so worried that it's going to be some kind of weird metric thread, you know. And that is just going to complicate things, friends. But I feel like if I do it like ahead of time, it'd be better than just waiting until it fails and then I need it and it's sitting in the middle of the driveway or something. But I think that's the worst thing on it right now. I think everything else is in pretty darn good shape. Filters were another struggle bus on this. You know, you can't just find the filters anywhere. I had to do a lot of hunting to find the filters for it. And I think they were finally Baldwin filters I got or something. I can't remember. But oil changing and fuel changing filters on this is not an easy thing anymore, because this is not a motor that was used in everything, you know. I think it's an OMC. Does that sound right? Or an OM. It might just be OM. Ohm. But anyway, I like little Freddy. It's one of my favorite tractors to drive, really. I mean, it is a horse. It's got a lot of power, but it's still nimble enough to get everywhere. And I don't know, I just really like little Freddy, you know. I had it, last time I tried to start it, I think I ran the battery too dead. But it's a cold day, it won't start. I'd love to find a new starter for it, but I doubt that's going to happen. Last I checked, you could get them from Germany, and it was $900 and some dollars, because it uses like those two bands are what holds it on the tractor. It just slides in there, and then those two bands just hold it up against the block. But I think it'd be sure wonderful if there was some kind of updated version of that, because it is so sluggish that it just doesn't do the thing. See, Freddy's got oil in him. That's good. It's not over full with water or anything, so he's just hanging out, waiting for his turn again. But he got some new stuff today, so that's cool. Just looking it over, I mean, there's stuff on it that it needs, but I don't know, I just have to find it. Like the tack drive has no guts in it. It'd be nice to find whatever's supposed to be in there to make that work again, and I haven't really investigated it. I might be able to make something work, I don't know. But the dash is all Oliverized, you know, with 4-digit parts, actual gauges, because we didn't have any Freddy gauges anymore. They were, I don't remember what was in there. I think they were just mix match gauges, and then some of them might have not had anything in the hole. I don't remember. I'm thinking of that 1250. It had gauges in, but they were all busted up, and that wasn't the way this one was. And parking brake, yeah, see, I think it was missing some stuff, and I found those pieces and got that put back together. And that amplicouple thing, I don't know anything about that. It does nothing, but we're not going to go poking around until we have to, so whatever. Little Freddy. Just the moral of the story is I like it. And yeah, so we got to put on our new stuff from viewers. One from Moline Dan and his crew, and one from the All States Ag Parts crew. So one of each. That way everybody's happy, and I am thankful to both of them for thinking of me and finding that stuff. So that's awesome. All right. One more thing I wanted to do. Well, I saw this the other day, and I'm very concerned that this has leaked out most of its diesel fuel from when we changed those two filters. And I don't know why it would have done that, but I feel like that's probably why it's so oily looking. I don't know. Poor 1365. I was thinking about this 2-cylinder John Deere, and let's get back there to where we can run it. I was remembering back to whenever Grandpa said once that in the freezing, frigid cold of wintertime, this was the only thing around here that would run. And so I thought, let's hear it run again, if that's possible. However, I did a good job of parking it full where you can't get to it. So that's great. Let's see if we can. I'm going to put the battery cable on. Maybe. This is another one we need to get the lights back up and going. That's where we are on it. I never got them done. These are original stuff. And this tractor, for whatever reason in my brain, I want to keep it as original as possible. And so that's what I had the generator converted to 12 volts instead of just putting an alternator on it, because that's the way she goes. But anyway, we need to get these 12 volt bulbs put in, and then I think I got wires run up there, but I don't have the wires through the tubes. So we'll have to, those are still original, and they're probably not going to cut the mustard there. So anyway, let's turn the gas on. I would assume that it still has some in it. And this may be a fail. I mean, it is actually pretty frigid cold today. Like in the, probably the 20s, I don't know. Let's give her some choke. Oh, I heard the pop of sadness. Come on. Oh, you don't like that. Sorry. That's weird. That's a different sound than I'm used to. Look at that. Barely even crank it over and it's running. He was right. Ever since we figured out that that magneto thing was upside down, this thing has been a very awesome runner. So that's so cool. I have fought this thing my whole life to get it to run like this. That's awesome. Yeah. That's cool. We'll let it run a little bit. Which also means I'll have to climb out here, but now that takes us down the line to this fella. I got a call from the shop that rebuilt, the machine shop that does the heads, and he's got the head done for that cock shut. So I got to go pick it up. And I've been thinking for a long time, this needs the head worked on this bad. Because not only is it putting compression in the water now, but it's always needed valve guides ever since I had it. It smokes terrible. So what I'm wondering is, it is under a pretty good section of roof, and then I can hose her down with Zep or something, but I'm thinking that tomorrow I'm going to take the head off of this, so that when I go get that other one, I can say, guess what, here's another one to do. Because it's a shame that this just sits here and does nothing. I would rake hay and stuff with it if it was usable, but it doesn't take long before it's, you know, bubbling over. I used to take it to the fair and we run belted stuff with it, but it wouldn't even do that now. I mean, it's getting pretty bad. So we got the fenders pretty well back in shape. I mean, they're not great. Like I said, these were made out of several fenders. This one's made out of 2 fenders, and I didn't do a very good bodywork job there because you can still see it, but it's better than it was, and it's solid, and that's what we're after. So yeah, we need to get this going so we can play with it. I also have over here, and I've never gotten it done, fender extensions for those style fenders, and that is a few and far between thing you never see. I got these. I need the brackets. I got the steel, there it is, the steel cut to make brackets. There's supposed to be brackets from those down, like into these holes up, and our good friend Mike Kelsom measured his brackets so that I knew how long to make them, and I need to go back and look at the notes I saved so I can make the bins and whatever. But if we get the tractor where it's usable, running and driving, then we'll pursue stuff like that, you know, that it needs, because then we can actually play with it. It's got the bigger style old-timey headlights on it. I think these 2 have been gone through totally. I don't remember. And then that one's just an original that's been bolted on. But I like to get them complete first, get them running where they're usable, get them complete, and then we worry about getting all this stuff correct, you know. The only thing I did to this one, really, that it's not how it would have come out, is I put this Ride Master seat on it, which they offered later on, you know, as an update that you could put in them. But the original seat frame, it's actually laying on the ground there. I drug it out the other day for something, but it broke in the leg, and it about dumped me on the ground too, so I went this way. But at any rate, I'm thinking that's going to be a project in the next day or so that I can just swap him heads. But then we'll have to keep up on this, and I wonder if we're about out of gas here. Let's shut the gas off. I bet it's about out of gas. It's starting to act funny. I can't see in there good enough. It might just not like to sit there and idle, I don't know. Well, whenever it runs out of gas, it'll be shut off. We can talk about what we were talking about. But anyway, I think if we jump this ahead in line, then he can be working on that. I'll tell him I kind of need it in a hurry so it doesn't sit open forever. But we'll have to keep policing it and keep it hosed down with stuff so it doesn't rust, because that would be the opposite of what we're trying to accomplish here. I really don't want this sitting apart for 6 months. Not that it's in the way, but that everything, the cylinder walls rust up and all that, because then we're in bad shape, worse than what we had. So, but this is a tractor that I got from a good friend years ago, and I just never got to do much with it other than I took it to the fair. It didn't have fenders on it for a long time, and it wasn't really usable for anything. Are you done now popping? I think you are. Good tractor. I'm pumped about that. That thing started so beautiful. We want to keep that up. Anywho, I'm trying to take the battery cable off while pointing you in a direction that makes no sense. But yes, I want to get this going, because this one's just been sitting here, and I've shoved it around and stuff back and forth every time it's in the way, and it's not really in the way now, but it's growing to the ground, you know, and that doesn't do him any favors either. So if we got that done, then that would be one more that we could just hook to and make it happen. There's a gasket for that Deere. Never got that put on. Must not be leaking too bad. But yeah, then we got little 500 here. I think the battery's dead on it. I need to yeah, get it started again and let the battery charge. I don't think the charging system's working. That's something we can tackle one day, which that's going to be a long ways off. That's a struggle bus. Once you get it, you charge it up, it'll run all summer on one charge. All you got to do is start it, and then it uses no electricity, you know. So this is a super handy little rig though, spraying all the time. That one, we'll have to sort out that leak that's developed ever since it decided to just do that for no reason. Super 66, we had that one running. I don't remember when I had that 1800 running not too long ago, because I thought it hadn't been running a while. So I try to start them all winter at some point, but life gets away from me, you know. When you put antifreeze in the fall, you'd start them all up and run them, and whatever. I had Freddy running the other day, so it's about time to start both of those combines though again, because they haven't been started in a while. I see something else too. This tractor, I've really wanted to do something with it and play with it, and we haven't got that done. This is our rare bird, and I see that for a long time that tire kept going flat, and I aired it up. Now this tire's going flat, so I need to air it up, and I bet you it's in there where I can't get to it. So I'm gonna have to get another tractor out of the way. Oh no, there it is. Okay, we can make that happen maybe after a while-ish. But we need to work on this one, because I want to take this one places this year, just for fun. You know, we're gonna fall into the water. Don't worry. I want to make this happen. I was worried about these. I had a nightmare that this fell into the mud and got ruined, and so I don't want that to happen. But I got so much stuff to put it back where it's not cobbled up, and that's where we were at before life happened and we didn't get it done. Did I put that in there and it fell out, or did I never put it in yet? I don't think I put it in yet. This is hanging out. This is doing great, but I don't think I trust it alone for vibration if we actually take it out and play with it. So some people had a really good idea of like tie a piece of fishing line around it or something so it was almost invisible. We'll have to revisit that at some point. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But it's just been doing the thing, you know, sitting here waiting its turn patiently. I'm kind of worried now because I don't know what I did with that emblem. It's okay. I'm sure I dropped it, and it's garbage now. Is it down here? Nope. Those are wing bolts for the seat. I got all this garbage, you know. There's my... Hey! We just found us something snazzy, friends. Let's get this I don't think any of this is valuable. Let's lay it. Let's find a different flat surface. Oh yeah, that's another reason why I abandoned ship on this project there for a little bit. I ordered that muffler and it's not right. Let's put that there. Stay. Everybody stay put. That muffler I bought, and it's not, my setup here is not right. The thing on top of the manifold has been welded on, so I don't think it's the right size. So what I was gonna do is order a new, I can order them from England, all the stuff. And I guess that's what I'll do, but get a new elbow thing that goes on there, and then just get the restoration quality muffler for it. Because that's not really what it's supposed to have. I mean, it doesn't hurt, but it's just not what it's supposed to have. Then we were going to take off all of that Murphy switch stuff so that we don't have that cobbly cobble on there. And then I was going to try to put a battery cutoff on, which I was debating on how to do that and had some different ideas. And yeah, we've just been going down the line. There's some red lights I ordered. But here's what I was pumped about a minute ago. I haven't been able to find these gigantic channel locks, and I've been looking all over for them. And I even bought a different set that's bigger the other day at the Hobo Freight store. And now I found these back. So they need to go where they belong. Yeah, when you get people calling you all day, sometimes you forget what you were doing and whatever. I honestly don't know where that Oliver emblem went. I hope that it's around. I thought I had it stuck in here, but it doesn't look like that. Shoot. That makes me cry. I don't know where I put it. It's around here somewhere. Maybe it's in the house. I don't think so though. I might have put it in that. Did I put it in the toolbox? Possibly the other side, maybe. I don't know. There's a valve cover gasket for it. There was the temperature gauge. I waited forever and ever and ever for it. And it's not that great a quality looking, but it's better than busted out one that we got. There's our oil pressure sender. We need to put that on, make that work, and all that stuff. Generator bracket. Oh, that's another thing. So I'm doing this mainly for me to remind myself what I need to still order so we can make some progress. I ordered off of the electronic bay the correct generator for this, and I wanted the generator with a pulley because I obviously have nothing. I found a different bracket that is not been cobbled because this one's been cut and welded, which we could put it back the way it's supposed to be, but why when you got another one? And I ordered it and it never showed up, and I thought, what the heck? So some time passed, and I think what did it say? It said the tracking when you clicked on it said part fell out of package, no merchandise in package sent to be destroyed, or something like that. And so I messaged the seller, and then after a long amount of him not wanting to do anything, then one day he refunded it, and that was the end of it. So we're back to square one on that. So I do need to go look that up and get a new generator made, a new one ordered, so we can put that back and eliminate all this garbage. And then the regulator is up in there, and we'll get a new one of those when we get a generator that we're sure is going to do the thing. And then we can make that the very best that it can be. Sure. I'm bummed about that emblem though. Where did that emblem go? There's the one that's a David Bradley, or David Brown, that I found aftermarket. There's a battery cutoff switch in there. Huh. That is a puzzle, friends. That is a puzzle. I thought sure that I had it laying somewhere on there, but maybe not. That's okay. The only reason it bums me out is I'm never going to be able to get another one again, because the guy who made them, they sold off all his stuff, and that's forever gone. So that's it, friends. I mean, there ain't no more of them coming out. But I'm almost sure I didn't have it in there because I couldn't get the screws started, and then we left it. I might have put it somewhere safe. I don't know. Sounds like something I might do, maybe. Maybe not. But that's okay. All I care about is that, yeah, see, there were some screws that hit the deck. There's the two lights for the fenders. Anywho's, this is a project I really want to get to because it's cool, you know? It's cool, and I just haven't got it done yet. So that's on our list of things to do, very importantly. Then we've got this little frustrating fellow. I found a PTO shield for it. Need to get that cleaned up and painted and put on, take those arms off, clean those up and put them on. And then park this in the yard somewhere and just look at it from a distance, because it has been an aggravating fellow. It just does not want to keep running. So we're probably going to be going into the carburetor again, trying to figure out what's its deal. I mean, it's frustrating. So yeah, and then we need to pick up all the trash. We need to have a trash day around this whole place and pick it all up where the wind has blown it and everything, and I don't know, where I've been a slob and just thrown it down. I've got, like I said, it's just practically done. It's just, it's not the way it's supposed to be. We need to wash it, probably do some spray wax on it, and then, I don't know. I did want to do one more thing to it that we didn't do, and I talked about it once, but never did it. I want to move these back wheels in a little bit. And I guess what I thought I would do is, we would try it by moving them just back one. I don't think that'll work though. I think I have to go, what I have to do is take the bolts out and move this to the back of the center. In other words, the center needs to be in front of that, and then it'll do what I want. It'll put this in line with those. It'll narrow it up and make it easier to put away in places, because right now the back wheels kind of stick out, and that's unhandy. So it's cute as a button, but annoying as can be. So we'll dive into that. Then we've got this sad sack, which I've got almost all the stuff for, except I realized I didn't have any rod bearings. So what we're going to do one day is we're going to have a tear down day. We're going to pull the other sleeve out. There's one more sleeve that's not doing the thing. This one I think is stuck to the piston, and it's going up and down with the piston. So we'll just take the rod bolts loose and pull that up out of there. And then the one that's actually doing what it's supposed to, and the sleeve is not coming out, we need to pull that rod up out of the sleeve. And then if it still stays in, we need to hook up our sleeve puller and pull it out of there. Get this all cleaned up and assess what we got going on and try to figure out what's what. I see that something has built a, oh, I hate those stupid mud wasps. They build a nest inside of that oil bolt hole. That sucks. So there's another struggle bus we got. But this is a warm weather project. I'm not building a motor in the winter because bad things could happen with the quality of our rebuild, even though we're just, see, right now we're going at it with the idea that we're doing an in-frame rebuild, but that could quickly turn into a pulling the motor, having the block machined rebuild, making sure that everything's the way it's supposed to be rebuild, because I'm worried about that crank not being right. because I got different numbers on these bearings and I'm not sure what I got yet. So I got to do some more research. And yeah, and then I got to remember what came out of what hole, because Ross wasn't smart enough to remember that. This one is number 4, and that's the one that was out for a long time, and it had the nicer bearings in it. Then the rusty rickety one is number 3, because I found it laying on the ground at Dad's house. And so that's what it is. But then I got all new rods to put back in it. So that's what we're going to do. Because the guy had new old stock rods for these, believe it or not. And when he sent me one and it was so nice, I said, just send me 3 more. And I said, well, just put all new ones in. So it's going to get new rods, new liners, new pistons, and new rod bearings, hopefully, is all that it's going to need. And then the gaskets, of course, but it might turn into a whole ordeal. Why wouldn't it? Everything else around here does. So yeah, and then we got a whole slew of other projects we can work on at some point, because yeah, they need to be done. There's the wire I was looking for the other day. I thought I had some extra of that. Oh well, you can always use more. So anywho's, I don't know what kind of video this was, but it was kind of a compilation of nonsense, but things that turned into more of a discussion video than anything, but that's okay too. I just wanted to get some, I mainly wanted to put those bolts in Freddy, so that was done. I wanted to get the other side of that red beam painted. We got that done. So 2 little things off of our list, and we looked over some stuff that I forgot, so I can order some more parts for that, so we can work on that one day. We need to work on that New Holland and finish it up. I was waiting on tools, and I got one, so I can probably go ahead and make it happen, and I'll just figure out the smaller one some way. But anyway, that's where we're headed. There's plenty of stuff to do. It's just time and weather that hold us back on that. I would say money, but it's not really money in the case that's holding us back, because I got a lot of the parts on hand for a lot of this stuff. We just need to make it happen. So that's where we are. Yeah, and I don't know what to tell you. I just it's trying to get you a video every day sometimes is a debacle, friends, but I very much enjoy the paycheck that comes with making a video every day, so I'm going to try to keep that going as long as we can. I'm secretly still bummed that I can't find that emblem, and I know it's around here somewhere. We've had such high winds, I just wonder if it didn't get blown away, because it was probably in a piece of plastic and the wind pretty good. But maybe not. Maybe I laid it inside. So whatever. We're going to leave this video here. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.